On a quiet, shadowy street, long after the sun had gone down, children whispered about stories that were so strange and spooky, they made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. These were stories of the unknown, tales that seemed impossible, yet somehow felt as if they could be true. In a little town, kids gathered in bedrooms, under blankets, and in backyards, ready to listen to the scariest stories they could find. One story told of a house at the end of a lane, old and creaky, where shadows moved on their own. Some said that late at night, if you looked into the windows, you could see figures dancing, even though no one lived there anymore. One brave boy named Tommy decided he would peek inside. As he approached the house, the wind howled, rattling the shutters, and the moon cast eerie shapes across the walls. Tommy held his breath and peeked through the dusty window. There, he saw not ghosts or monsters, but shadows that seemed to tell their own stories, twisting and turning like they were alive. Another story told of a dark forest where whispers floated on the wind. Children who wandered too far would hear their own names called softly, carried through the trees. A girl named Emma, curious and brave, ventured into that forest one evening. As she walked among the towering trees, she heard her name faintly, over and over. Emma shivered, but instead of running, she followed the sound. At the center of the forest, she found a glowing lantern, swinging gently, with no one around. She realized that the forest had a secret. It was not scary, but magical, and it revealed hidden wonders only to those who were brave enough to look. One tale spoke of a shadow that could follow you even when you ran, a shape that appeared in mirrors, flickering in the corner of your eye. A boy named Ben saw it for the first time on a rainy night. He looked into the mirror and saw a faint, dark shape moving behind him. At first, he froze, but then he noticed that it was only trying to tell him something. When he stayed calm, the shadow shifted, showing him a hidden door in his attic, a door that led to an old chest full of forgotten toys and books. What had seemed frightening was actually a guide to something wonderful. Another story was about a train that roared through the night, carrying passengers who could not be seen. A girl named Lily heard the sound of the wheels on the tracks, even though the rails had long been abandoned. She peeked through her window and saw a glowing train, steaming and rumbling, moving without a driver. She felt a mix of fear and curiosity, and she knew she had to follow it. Lily ran to the tracks and saw that the train stopped at a hidden station, where all the lost letters, toys, and forgotten wishes of children had been collected. The train wasn't scary. It was a keeper of memories, waiting for someone to discover its secrets. Every story in these whispers of the night had a lesson. Sometimes, what seems scary at first is actually a puzzle to solve, a secret to discover, or a chance to show courage. A boy or girl who listens carefully learns that fear can be a friend, a way to notice things that others might miss, and a path to adventure. The haunted houses, the dark forests, the shadows and mirrors, the ghostly trains, they all hide surprises, magic, and opportunities to be brave. As the children listened, they learned that the dark is full of possibilities. It is quiet, yes, but not empty. It holds stories, secrets, and mysteries waiting to be understood. Every creak, whisper, or flicker of light could be a story waiting for a brave heart to explore. The scariest stories to tell in the dark are not meant to frighten forever. They are meant to awaken courage, imagination, and curiosity. And so, when night falls and the world is quiet, children still gather, whispering to each other about the strange, wonderful, and spooky tales they have heard. They know that the dark is not just shadows and fear. It is a place full of adventure, magic, and lessons that only the brave can discover. Even today, if you sit under your blanket with a flashlight, close your eyes, and listen closely, you might hear the whispers of the old tales. You might see the shadows dancing, the ghostly trains rolling, and the hidden doors waiting to be found. And if you are brave, you will remember that fear is just the beginning of a story, and the dark is a place where imagination can soar, wonder can grow, and every shadow holds a secret waiting for you to find.